Hey guys, let us continue with the previous video. We were discussing about how to parse an XML elements. Now in this session we'll be discussing about looping through node, how we can make the looping through any particular nodes. Okay, so in general we have seen often XML as multiple nodes. Whenever there is a situation that we have a multiple nodes and we want to write a loop to process all of the nodes. Okay, this is a situation where multiple nodes exist, and we have a condition that we have to write a loop to process all the nodes. Okay, in that case we'll be writing a program that loop through all the user nodes. Okay, so you can see here we are importing the element tree, and then input the single quotes represents a string, and then stuff is the parent node here, and we'll be having so many other child elements, that is user, and then we have id, name, and then uh, you have make sure you have to close the stuff tag. Okay, respective parent and the child tag should be closed. Okay, user will be second, that means for example say x is equals to 2, user will be 10, id should be 1, and the name is check user is, and the other we can have multiple users, we have multiple nodes here, right? So user x is equals to 7, and then name is Brent, and then close this particular tabs. Okay, so now how to access these multiple nodes? Okay, how we can process all the nodes in this particular x element tree? Okay, so we have form string, and we know the meaning of this form string. Then list is equals to stuff dot find all of users or user. Okay, it finds all the users and a per specific users in this particular element tree. Okay, so now it's first what should you do, it should print the user count. Okay, now we have a user count, that is 2 users we have specified here, and obviously it should be 2 users, and it should print for each user name and its value, id and its value, and attribute and its value. Okay, to find the value, item dot find of name comma text, and to find the id the same thing, item dot find of id, then dot text, item dot get of x, value of x it is shown to present. So now you can see here we have the 2 users there, so it is going to give the 2 user count as 2, and then first name and the check, what is the name, check, id, and then 1. So name of the first user is check and id is 1, and attribute is 2. Name of the second user is Brent, id is 9, and then attribute is 7. This is what going to display. So what does the find all method do? It retrieves a Python list of the subtrees that present the user structure. So whatever the subtrees are there, it going to present the same thing, that is a going to count the number of the users. So then we can write a for loop that looks into each of the user nodes and then print the name and id of the text element as well as x attribute from the each user. Okay, so it's very important to include all the parent level elements in the find all statement except for the top level elements. You can see the parent elements here, users and user. You can see parent elements, users, and then users we have. Okay, parent level, that means for stuff parent level we have the child level elements, that is users and then users, so all the elements is included here. Okay, so otherwise if you are not doing such or you are not including such elements, then Python will not find any desired nodes. Okay, that's how we can loop through the nodes. Whenever multiple nodes exist, then we can, this is a way, or this is a procedure where you can loop through the nodes. Okay, now in the similar way, if you want to find the uh, nested, when you have a nested elements, when there are no users, how you can make it? Okay, whenever you have the elements nested here and you want to find something user count. Okay, if you are not mentioning, I have told you here, you can see here I have told you you should include all the parent level elements. If you are not include the parent level elements, then it shows the user count as 0. Okay, so you can have a look here. For example, list2 is equals to stuff dot find all user, print user count, length of list2 is 0 because it is not including all the parent level elements. Okay, so what it is showing, List 2 looks for the user elements that are not nested within the top level stuff element where there are none. So it is giving user count as 0. Okay, so this is how looping through the nodes can be done in the Python. The next one is JSON. Okay, so that means JavaScript object notation. Okay, using JavaScript, how we can make a object notation. Okay, so this JSON format was one thing which was inspired by the object and array format using the JavaScript language. Okay, so make sure we are using the JavaScript language here. But Python was invented before the since this Python was invented before JavaScript, Python syntax for dictionaries and list influenced the syntax of the JSON. Okay, so the syntax for dictionaries and the list have been influenced to the JSON, that is JavaScript object notation. So now the format of the this JavaScript object notation is similar or identical to combination of Python list and the dictionaries. It is almost similar to the Python list and the dictionary. So how we can do this encoding? It is similar to the simple XML. Say here we have name is check and the phone number we can write it in the similar type, should be type of the phone number, that is integer, and then number should be written here, and then we have email, hide the email. So this is what we can write format. This is using the JSON method, that is JavaScript object notation. Now there in the program we have noticed some differences when compared to the previous XML program. In the first XML we can add the attributes like intl to the phone tag. In the JSON we simply have the key value page. Okay, so here we simply have the key value page which is written here. Okay, so also in the example person tag is gone, replaced by a set of the outer curly braces. So when you compare to the previous example, you can see we have tags written here, but here we have written in the curly brackets. Okay, so now in general, the structure of the JavaScript object notation is simpler when compared to XML because JSON has fewer capabilities than XML. But using JSON has advantage that it maps directly to some combination of dictionaries and list. Whenever you have a dictionaries and the list, it can be mapped directly. And since nearly all the programming languages have something equivalent to Python's dictionaries and list, it is JSON, that is JavaScript object notation, is very natural format to have a two cooperating programs exchange data. So this is about the JavaScript object notation, how we can use in the Python. Okay, now how we can do the passing of the elements in the using the JavaScript object notation. How we can do it? We can construct our JSON by nexting the dictionaries. How we can next the dictionaries on the list that is required. So when you consider this example, we represent a list of the users where each user is a set of the key value pairs. We know how to use the key values pairs, that is a dictionaries. So in the dictionaries chapter we discussed how we can write the key value pairs. So we have a list of the dictionaries. So in this following program, we use the built-in JSON library. Make sure you have to import the JSON library to parse the JSON and read through the data. Okay, now you are reading the data, and this single three quotes represents the string. Okay, so this JSON has less detail, so we must know in advance that we are getting a list. Then the list is of the users, and each user is a set of the key value 4. Okay, so this JSON is more succinct, that means it has an advantage but also less self-describing. Okay, that means more description will not be provided, that is very difficult for the users to read. Okay, so this is how we can write the similar code. Okay, using the string notations. Okay, alright. So now when you write this code, obviously it should display the same thing, that is when you want to count the number of the users and then print the details of that particular users. Okay, the one thing what we are using is you have to load the data. That is how we can load. Info is equals to json.load. So load, it is a Python list which travels with the for loop, and each item within that list is Python dictionary, and it finds the length of that particular info, and it finds the items, and then each item has been printed here. Okay, so once this JSON has been passed, we can use the Python indexed operator to extract the various bits of the data for each user. So this is how we can pass any data or the information using the JSON. So that is about the parsing JSON. Thank you.